first interview that I've talked about Lion King with, about. So
Yes.
that being said, yeah,
Listen, but Bruce, so obviously we're here for the Lion King at the Hollywood Bowl. And
yeah.
I have to, of course, start by saying congrats, congrats, congrats. A huge congratulations to you
Well,
for
we're really super excited. I mean, I mean, anytime you get nominated, but it's that particular category, live TV. TV specials is such a broad category. So, and there's a lot of shows that are up, and it's also sort of different because it's a group of your peers that elects you or votes for you, you're as a nominee. So you never know how the show is going to be perceived.
yeah.
That being said, it's the Lion King, so it's great. It's like it's such a over ubiquitous known entity.
Yeah. But that leads me to ask, like, I'm curious, Bruce, like, has being a part of that project and then that entire production been somewhat of a full circle moment for you personally? I mean, we're talking about the Lion King, 30 years. Like,
Absolutely, absolutely. Everybody feels. I'm sure that not everybody in the departments, makeup, hair, wardrobe, set design, feels the gravity of what you're doing because it's such an important entity, and it's been done theatrically, the animation. So when you get a job like that, you kind of really feel the pressure on your back. Like we got to get this right.
yeah, 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 yeah. And this is not only your first Emmy nomination, but you are, listen, we're almost at number 10 at this point, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm curious, Bruce, does every nomination bring about a different feeling and sentiment for you?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, working for Disney in any kind of these situations, you get a chance to bring to life animated characters, and so this was a little bit different. This was a marriage of the theatrical production, and of course the animation feature and the performances. This is really like a big TV special, and there's so many moving parts that you got to go when you're reading through it. You just got to take a deep breath and go, okay, how is this going to work? How are we going to fit in? How and how are we going to make it all work with all these different teams? Because there's a lot of different teams there.
Mm, mm. And that leads me to asking because not only have you been a huge part of TV and film, but you've worked with not one, but two presidents of the United States, right? So I
I
definitely
have,
feel
I
like,
have,
I mean, that's like a big deal. Bruce,
yeah,
talk to
two
me.
presidents and five, I think five or four Democratic National Conventions. So it's yeah, which is something that I mean, to me, makeup is the experience. It literally is the experience of doing something, being somewhere that you would never ever expect to be on the planet, other than that situation. And when you get the opportunities like that, you grab them, and you just take them and go, "Wow, I'm going to see a part of the world I've never would ever get to see in another lifetime." So take it while you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I worked for both Barack Obama and for Hillary Clinton and for Bill Clinton. And I never really got to make up Michelle, but I've been around her many times. So yeah.
Talk to me about the transition from working with huge
Mhm.
political figures onto those working in the television film space. Like there has to be a huge transition as a, head of makeup expert.
It is and it isn't. You get in live TV. I looked at everything. I started in live TV, so and I continue to think it's the most exciting part of entertainment. So you only get one chance to get it done right. So you got to come in prepared, as we do for Lion King. We have to come in prepared. It's the same thing with a presidential inauguration. You go through all the iterations of what could happen. A lot of our work is just making sure that you go through every scenario of what could go wrong to get it right, you know.
Yeah.
So you think about, well, but you got to narrow down, and you don't get a lot of time. I mean, they're not going to wait on us, and it's the same thing with Lion King. They're going up live at a certain time. The audience, the lights go up. You know, it's one chance. You know, I mean, we did it over several nights this show, but it's still, you treat every one of those situations like, I get one shot at it. I have to be prepared.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. And I think like being the head of makeup, is there more delegating going on from your angle of things, or are you Bruce Grayson, like working with the key stars of whatever type of production, whatever type of project it is?
In this case, there was three different shows going on. There was the dance performance that we had, and we had the performers part of the show, the star performers, and then there's another element that we have. Well, we had the even get down to the orchestra, who was so featured in this. You know, we had to make sure that they look good, that they got enough attention, because there was such long shot, you know, such long sustained shots on parts of the orchestra, which I knew was probably going to happen. I mean, I knew it was part of the job, but the orchestra is a big part of that thing. So, and then of course the Lion King theatrical production, which is the traveling Lion King show, and so we're all these different groups, and we're really trying to figure out how we all exist and coexist to make a great TV show, and with very little time to do it. We meet, we get a rehearsal, and we're off to the races, you know. And there's a lot of logistics that you have to work out. Problems. It's not a problem. It's a very theatrical place, and you doing a show there is like nothing, no other place to do a show on the planet. But it does pose problems. Think about at for instance, at the Pantages, because that's a theatrical place, or if you're at the Peacock Theater downtown, or even the Staples Center. It's, you know, there are things that you have to work out in your head and with other departments, and make sure that it goes correct, you know.
And I think speaking of that, like how hands-on were you specifically with Northwest? And I'm asking that because obviously there were a ton of stars a part of this project, but like that's literally Kim Kardashian, someone that a lot of people foresee as being like the epitome of beauty, right? Of makeup when it
Yeah,
comes.
yeah. Well, I mean, she came. They had their own people. They were sort of, you know, they had their own set of people, and you know, they were, obviously she's a child, so she has to be, you know, have her um, uh, person on stage, you know, a teacher and stuff. So they were slightly insulated, but when she walked out, it was great, because, you know, it's sort of the parting of the Red Sea, you know, and here's this girl. It's a big performance. It's one of her first performances, so you feel all that energy there. But they were great. They were great.
Oh my God. I mean, we're talking about from the Oscars, the Grammys, the Emmys, Golden Globes, presidents. How proud are you of your personal and professional portfolio? Because I mean, it literally is impeccable, Bruce. Like
I
it's
try not
bananas.
to. I mean, I think about it. You know, when you think about, like, I've been doing this a long time, so I get to a place. You know, you're only as good as your team, and so when we do these big productions, people don't realize I have a great assistant, Brielle McKenna, who works with me very closely, and we work together. The minute we sign on to one of these productions, we start going through. Well, who, you know, we've got the stars. We've got Nathan. We've got Jeremy. We've got who else was on this? So we had um, every one of them was with Jennifer Hudson, who brought in her own makeup artist, who I know very well, but we make sure that we have to take care of them, and Heather Headley, and then we have the dancers who we have to take care of, and make sure that the theater production people are taken care of and are doing their thing. So it's three wheels that are moving simultaneously, and have to be cognizant of, like we talked about, showtime. it's proscenium. It's not like it's an open air theater. It's not like a closed theater where you're going to get lights bouncing. They're going to stay. No, these lights are just going to disperse into the Hollywood sky. So there's a lot of things that I know in my head I'm looking for, and that my team can make adjustments are. And then we created so many different animals, impalas, wallabies, giraffes, that they were part of the production, the animated production. They've never, there was the theatrical, there are some elements in the theatrical production, but they're puppets, and so they're fixed. But we had to really get on the map with what these impalas would look like, and then so you're going through every rendition of your head and what we can do, and then you have to remember that that we reuse a lot of those dancers in later acts, and they become villagers. So we have to figure out how are we going to get that makeup off of them and them looking good for the finale. It's mind-boggling when you think about it. But you have like I said, we start thinking about what can go wrong, and we meet with production and we pass off our artwork and make sure that everybody signs off. We try to get that stuff done early on so that we can get down to the nitty gritty. But the other part about it is we're sort of confined by the show time, the run of show, and if the run of show changes, if elements in the run of show, and this is, it is Lion King, but it's a live theater production. Basically performance songs. So everything's, but that the cartoon's going to run in a certain time, live to the audience. So you do have sort of a template, but it's always changing. And we're just sitting there every night looking for the rundown and seeing what's changed and how we're going to figure out. And we went through so many different different drawings of how we could move from one makeup to the next, and crazy stuff that we've seen and heard about online or from other shows in Europe and stuff, like theatrical shows where you would take off one makeup almost and to reveal another makeup. None of that worked because of the timing was so critical, and when we didn't get that those last final times, everything wasn't locked down until a couple days before the show. I believe a day before the show. So we had to lean back on what we do best, and we paint. We painted those giraffes. We painted those ostriches. And a lot of the things went up the door, but that's why you hire the best of the best to come in and work with you, because that they have been through live TV with me, some of these makeup artists for 20 years, things like we do the same thing at the Oscars, and we do the same thing at the Grammys. Well, they're reused dancers, and we're training them over to another look for another band. It's the same thing with these performance dancers, and they're so on top of their game. They know exactly where to be, where the change is going to be, how long it's going to take. But you know what? I would never want to do it any other way, because that energy I've lived with all my life. It's addicting. Once you get into this, it's really hard to go. I'm talking forever, I feel like, but it's really hard to go on a movie set and do Law and Order, and do Law and Order, or do like some kind of series TV, because this is, to me, the heart of entertainment.
Yeah. Oh my God. I swear, I feel like I have so many questions for you. I just really do.
Right.
Oh my God, I just don't. I want to know, like, professionally on the back end of things, how are you protecting? So I want to get into some of the nitty gritty of your secrets. Bruce,
Okay.
how are you protecting and caring for the skin underneath all of these, sometimes layers of makeup? And do you have certain brands that are more sustainable to work with than others?
Absolutely. There are certain brands that are more sustainable. You want to make sure that everybody, one of the easiest things one of the things you can control is you can make sure that talent goes home and cleans their face and gets that makeup off, so that nothing possibly, again, we're talking about what can go wrong, will go wrong with their skin. So they come into our environment, and for the days that we have them, where they have a healthy skincare regime, then we try to time it. Like we know they got to go to rehearsal, they got to come to us, and sometimes we can do certain things with. And yes, we use more theatrical makeups, but sometimes we use like we're in with Bobby Brown or with I'm using um, uh, Giorgio Armani on certain skins because I can look at somebody and after doing this for so many years know that their skin's going to be able to hold on to that makeup throughout the evening. There's some that you can't, and then you want to go to more theatrical type of makeups, and then there are makeups that are in between that are produced by former makeup artists that have elements that I know are going to be sustainable within this live performance, like Beauty Blender, Rianne De Silva, who's a friend of mine, created that, and it's just the right intensity. It's just the right coverage, and it stays put. And then there's little tricks that you can use. You can mix mediums, a little theatrical makeup with a base like a Giorgio Armani, and create your own sort of stew, for instance, and it'll stick better to skin. But you really, after you've been doing makeup for as many years as I have, you kind of know when a person sits in your chair. Oh, I get that skin. I've seen it before. It's nothing. It's not new to me. And this is what we're going to do. And then of course that's why we have rehearsals. You know what I mean? So we can see how it maintains.
When did Bruce fall in love with makeup?
Oh, I've been, I'm a makeup junkie so I'm a product junkie. My room is just full of products that people send me. The tragedy is my wife doesn't really like makeup. So, but skincare, I get a lot of skincare, and I'm curious, just like everybody else is. When K Beauty started being a big deal, I wanted in. So I'm emailing those companies. Well, why this mask for that? And that's how you really have to stay on.
Uh-oh. You still with me, Bruce?
And some of them are, I believe, um, they're not a waste of time. They're good, but some of them I know I go, oh, that might work for me. That could possibly work for me. So I fell in love with makeup. The original question is many, many years ago, but I've been through so many. My father was a makeup artist. I don't know if you knew that.
Yes.
So I got into this. I loved entertainment, and I got in at such a young age that I went through years where I go, I really have to kind of think about if I'm going to do this to reinvent myself a couple times for the long run. And part of it was learning product, talking about it on the internet, being a spokesperson for different brands, traveling with MAC Cosmetics team where I learned a lot from their artists. It's being immersed in meeting. It's the same as being a painter. If you get a chance to work with a bunch of painters, and there's those times that in makeup that are there are like the great impressionists of that went to Paris and worked at the same time, Degas, you get to sit around a lot of great makeup artists. You learn a lot of great ideas, and that's what I've been through so many of those transitions, and that's what I love about makeup. It's always evolving. You're always meeting there are a lot of new kids that have great ideas, and you just want to absorb all of that.
Yeah. No, I
I'm sorry,
love
I just
it.
closed my door.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I
Yeah.
noticed something, Bruce, because of course I did my research, but I was familiar with you and your work anyway, and the trajectory of your career, honestly. But there was something that really stood out to me on your Instagram bio. And under your Instagram bio, you have identity enhancer. And I don't know, for some reason, it really popped out to me. I feel like I can assume what it is Bruce means by this, but I really want to, delve into that a little bit more. Like when you put up identity enhancer, like exactly what does that mean to you, being the
Well,
expert you are?
I often say, look, I did a lot of sitcoms, so I'll give you a good analogy. I did a ton of different sitcoms, and I would always talk to producers like, and actresses, and say, well, it's a nighttime scene. I want to do this. I want to do that for the daytime scene. I want to do that. But the great sitcoms had actresses that really didn't change that much. Their makeup stayed the same. I'm going to use Jennifer Aniston as a reference.
How
Her
did I know
makeup
you were going
stayed
to
the
go to
same.
Jennifer Aniston? I
Yeah,
literally
well,
knew you were about to mention her.
and the cast and those makeup artists were so smart because America latches on to that identity through their hair, through their makeup, and the words that come out of their mouth. And I really feel that's true. So, there are actors that I've worked with that have showed me their what identity enhancing means. And they do it better on themselves than I could ever do it. I just follow their lead. And
Yeah.
then there are other people that you introduce things to. Well, I think this would work for this character, and I think it's a good lip color for you during the day, during the night, because again, unless it's a wedding scene, of course, it's something different. Or if they're going to an event. Uh, in Washington D.C., of course, they're going to change their lipstick, but it's lipstick. But if you look at Jennifer Aniston, she had that pat look 85 to 90% of the time. It was that girl, and America latched onto that girl, and that's what I think happens with Reba. What happens with they latch on to that certain look, and that's where I got that identity enhancement thing, the identity enhancer.
I like that. I'm happy I asked you that. Bruce, listen,
Mhm.
your work is beyond, okay, but I'm not telling you anything that you are clearly not already aware of. And
No, 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 no. No, I'm
keep
just
going,
kidding.
keep going. You're the bomb. You are back.
No, no. I appreciate it. I've done it for so many years. Like like I've said, I forget some of what's on my IMDb. I go back, and it blows me away that I've been doing it as long as I have, and continue to do, talk about shows, and continue to get an opportunities to get Emmy nominations. I mean, this is, and I have such a great team. Every one of these artists that are working me that are nominated had such an imprint on that show. It really is a group effort, and I'm very proud of this team.
And I'm proud of you, and I'm so happy for you. And I can talk to you forever, literally. I hope one day you have, like, I'm blessed enough for you to do my makeup. I don't know in what capacity, but
Yeah,
Bruce,
I'd absolutely love that. I saw you. I took a look at you. I'm no fool. I did my research on you, and I saw you do a ton of red carpets. Yeah, so and all over the place. And the fact that I saw that you started at iHeart. I've been doing iHeart Music Awards forever.
are you
That was
kidding
like, I
me?
go, oh, yeah. I've done iHeart for probably, I don't know, 8 years, 10 years. Not forever, but I've done the iHeart Music Awards probably 6 years, 7 years now. No, I think probably 9 years now. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Will always,
I love those.
yeah, iHeart
I
will
love,
always have a very special place in my heart because that's initially how my career in media and entertainment kicked off in radio.
yeah.
But I want to know, like, before I let you go, Bruce, what could possibly be next for you? And
Well, there's always projects I hear about. I'm blessed to be part of a team that works in live TV. That that they go, okay, these guys are the dudes. They're the guys and the gals that have been doing this the longest. Let's get them. So I'm blessed to be part of those teams where I get where it's not like, it is part of my resume and stuff like that. But there are a lot of good people, department heads of makeup, and there's a lot of good makeup artists out there. But to be considered for those kind of jobs, I'm always looking ahead in the trades and seeing what's possible, what's next, what can go on. But I'm always looking to be challenged. It keeps my mind in the game, and I'm always looking for those new things, like for instance, they, have been some shows that I've missed out because they've been done in New York, and it was not economically feasible to bring my team out there. But I think of like oh Jesus Christ Superstar, which was done I think back in New York City, and they're
Yeah.
going to do it here at the Bowl. I'm not doing it, but it's those kind of things. Always looking for something that's going to challenge me, something that's going. I'm always, and the same goes with talent.
Yeah.
The talent. My personal clients are all really, really. They're such pros, and they have such they have expectations for you, and so there's that part of it too. So it's trying to stay at this stage of the game, uh, choosing projects that keep me completely immersed, and keeping my team completely immersed, because I really like working with the same group of people. And if I can keep them busy, and then not going off to do a movie in South Africa or something, I want to try to keep those guys together.
Yes, Bruce, literally, I love you. This conversation was absolutely amazing. I am cheering you on for the Emmys in the next couple of months.
Oh, thank you.
I
It,
know that
it,
I'm
it's
going
a,
to see you sooner than that. I'll probably see you on the next red carpet. Who knows?
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of well, we're heading into that season soon. So with the Emmys, and it's a very, very there's a lot of good work in that category. But like I'm saying, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed, because there's so many things that, like, even you have to explain over the nomination season of why this was so cool, why it was so complex, why it's different than Saturday Night Live. It's beat me more times than I can care to imagine in this category. But there's complications with this show that you wouldn't even have with Saturday Night Live. So I hope that the people that see the work will recognize that.
You got it this go round, Bruce. It's yours. It's yours. I'm gonna let you go, Bruce. I look
Okay.
forward to chatting with you very, very soon. Thank you so much for your time.
Well,
I
thank you,
genuinely love you.
I'm honored. I'm honored to be to be an early interview for you. The
Yeah.
season's just starting, right?
My
Yeah.
biggest interview. My biggest interview. I will talk to you very soon, Bruce.
I hope
Thank you
so.
so much.
I hope so. Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
Right.